Next, we're going to take a look at some examples from Chapter 5. These are the introductory input commands for working with data files. But first, let's take a look at these comments on our spreadsheet. There are 5 steps that you must use or complete when you are working with using a file for input. So you need to first include the include fstream header. Fstream is going to allow you to both read and write. The second thing that you're going to do is to define a file stream object. There are 3 types of file stream objects. You have OFStream that opens and writes to a file, and it automatically creates the file for you. You have sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. So you have OFStream, and that will take data. You have IFStream, which will actually help you input file from the data. So what these little arrow means, OFStream is for output stream, so it takes the data and puts it into a file. That's what the arrow means. IFStream is going to take data from a file, and FStream allows you to take data back and forth to the files. So on this particular slide here, if I were to put in a space, it might help so that you see there are 3 different commands that you're actually working with here. So you have OFStream, IFStream, and FStream, and the little arrow is showing you the direction in which those operate. When you do use OFStream over here on the right hand side, some of them are going to automatically create the file for you, and if you are doing OFStream, it's going to destroy the file that's already there because it's creating a brand new file, and so you want to be careful of that. The FStream does all 3 over here. It's going to open, read, and write. So let me go ahead and fix this so you guys can see what that's actually supposed to look like. So OFStream opens and writes to a file, auto creates, and it destroys, plus when it creates the new. IFStream is going to be when you're working with a file that's already existing. It will open the file and read it, and then FStream will open, read, and write. Okay. You want to take a look in your textbook at the different file stream data types from table 5-1 that's in your textbook. And then after you've included the header, created your stream object, then you can open a file. You then process the file. Step 4 is processing the file, and that's where you're going to either write, read, or alter, change the file. When you're all done working with the data file, then you need to close the file. But you will always need to follow those processes when working with data files. You'll need to open the file, you process the file, and then you close the file. And there are several examples in your textbook for doing that. We will take a look at a few of these. I am going to open up Visual Studio and create a new project just to kind of show you how this works in Visual Studio. When we do a new project here, I'm going to create new project, and they changed the format here just a little bit, which is another reason why I wanted to kind of go through this with us again. We want to create an empty project, and so I'm just going to call this one data demo for right now. And I might need to do this more than once because and then watch where you're creating it so that we know where it's stored. But there were some options that we used to select, and I think they changed how this particular version of the compiler sets things up. So we will see if it's set up the way that I expect. And this one actually looks good because it's an empty project. So there was some options that we had to select earlier that we must no longer have to do. So we're going to create a source file here, and I'm going to add a new item. That's off the screen, you can't see it, but I'm just adding a new item. That new item that I want to add is going to be a .cpp file, and that's, for right now, I'm just going to leave it named source for this particular example. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out here is when you're working with a data file in Visual Studio, what you want to do is add a new item. And again, you can't see it, it's off to the right hand side, but I'm adding a new item, and we want to go to resources. And I lied. We want to go to data, maybe. Lied again. It's a hunt and peck. let me think for a second here. So it's not code. I want to look for just a text file. UI, it is not data. What this is used for, just because it makes sense to choose data because we're working with a data file, but what this is used for right here is tying your data to something that's already created, such as a SQL file or a SQL script to open up and run your SQL. And resources. I'm looking for just a simple TX file, a text file. Okay. There we go. It's under utility. So it's kind of counterintuitive, which was another reason I wanted to run this example. So this particular file, we might want to rename it based upon the data that we're using. So I'm just going to name it data.txt for now, but if you have like rainfall data or you have other data, names data, etc., you're going to want to name it according to that data. And then what I would recommend that you do is copy the data over from whatever resource that you're using and paste it into this document here. Okay, I copied the code over from our textbook. This is program 5-17 from our textbook. And this particular one is going to use an OF stream, so it's an output file. And it's going to then write the names to a file. And depending on how you compile your program, you might need to put in this system pause in order to get the screen to pause. So I'm going to go ahead and execute this program, and we're going to see how it works, or if it works. We're going to input 3 names, it says, of 3 friends, and then the trick here is going to be able to see where it stores that data. So we're going to Fred, Barney, and Wilma are our friends. The names are saved to a file, and I press enter. And so we don't know where that file is at, and that's going to be something that we want to keep track of. And so it's friends.txt. So I am going to go and notice it did not like add it over here automatically for us. So there's a couple of things that we can do. We could right click and add an existing item, and that's a Shift-Alt-A. And if I add an existing item, then it's going to go to my class folder. This is inside your project folder, and so I could click and add friends.txt to my project. If I open it up, there's Fred, Barney, and Wilma. So that gives you an introduction to the data files. I'm going to do some more examples, but I'm going to stop here for right now, and we will come back and do some more examples from our list back here. But we're not going to do them all, so just know that there's a variety of different examples that you can use, and for the advanced programs there's some additional ones down here under chapter 13.